The bill arrives in month 4, $9,700 every month. Medicare has stopped paying. You read the invoice again. The number does not move. Your mother is in a nursing home. Power of attorney is handled. Medicare directives are done. What is not handled is the moment Medicare coverage ends. You assume Medicare covered this. Her financial planner assumed it too. Neither of you were told otherwise until the invoice arrived. And this is the moment most families discover the same thing. Well, by the end of this video, you have 5 specific steps to protect your family before that invoice appears. You see, Medicare was never designed to pay for long-term nursing home care. It only pays for short-term medical recovery. And here's why the financial shock is so large. 70% of adults age 65 and older will need some form of long-term care before they die. The average nursing home stay is 2.5 years. At $9,700 per month, that becomes $291,000 for an average stay. Most retirement accounts were not built to absorb that. And most families did not plan for it because they assumed Medicare would handle it. Medicare does not handle it. Here's the exact rule most families discover too late. Medicare Part A covers skilled nursing facility care after a qualifying 3-night inpatient hospital stay. Days 1 through 20, Medicare covers 100%. Days 21 through 100, you pay a daily copay of $217 in 2026. That's about $17,360 out of pocket for that window alone. And before the skilled nursing clock even starts, you already paid the 2026 Part A hospital deductible of $1,736 just to qualify for admission. Day 101 and beyond, Medicare pays nothing. The entire bill is yours. And this is when most families face the financial crisis, not because they were not paying attention, because they were told Medicare was a long-term care solution. Well, it is not. It is a short-term recovery benefit. But there's a second rule that quietly blocks coverage for thousands of families every year. The hospital stay that triggers skilled nursing access must be a patient admission. If your parent was under observation status, even if they slept in a hospital bed for 3 nights, it does not count. One exception. If your doctor participates in a Medicare accountable care organization with a 3-day rule waiver, the inpatient requirement may not apply. So ask before you assume. If your parent is currently hospitalized, ask for the MOON notice. That stands for Medicare Outpatient Observation Notice. The hospital is required to give it to you in writing. It explains exactly what status your parent is under and what it means for their costs and skilled nursing eligibility. As of 2026, if your parent is admitted as an inpatient and that status is later changed to observation, you have the right to fast appeal while they're still in the facility. Most families never knew that right existed, but now you do. The observation status issues runs deep enough that I have a separate video dedicated to that. What I want you to take from this one is the question to ask before the transfer happens, not after. Here's a pattern that keeps families in this situation. Families plan for retirement income. They plan for Social Security timing. They plan for Medicare premium. Almost none of them plan for the cost that arrives after Medicare ends. The reason is structural. Long-term care costs do not show up in any standard retirement calculator. Only 13% of adults over 65 have private long-term care insurance. The other 87% are relying on one of the 3 things: their own savings, family resources, or Medicaid. When Medicare stops, almost every family ends up in the same place. Medicaid is a primary payer for long-term nursing home care in the United States, but Medicaid has an eligibility threshold that most families with any accumulated assets do not automatically meet. Most states require assets below $2,000 for an individual to qualify. Now, your home may be exempt while you're alive. One vehicle is typically exempt. Personal property is typically exempt. Your spouse may retain a protected spousal amount. In some states, in 2026, that amount exceeds $150,000. The Medicaid application is detailed and it takes time. You do not file it the day your parent enters a nursing home. You apply months in advance with an elder law attorney who knows your state's rules. Every state administers Medicaid differently. The limits, the exemptions, and timeliness are not uniform. So there's a legal strategy most families have never heard of. It's called spend down. It's how families convert countable assets into exempt assets before applying for Medicaid. This is not hiding money. It's using the rules as written. The law allows you to pay off a mortgage on an exempt home, to make necessary home repairs or accessibility modifications, to prepay funeral and burial expenses, to purchase certain Medicaid-compliant annuity products. These moves are legal. They're documented. Elder law attorneys structure them for families every day. And this is a rule that changes the entire timeline. Medicaid has a 5-year look-back period. Any asset transferred within 5 years of your application date will be reviewed. So if the transfer is found to be an attempt to qualify for Medicaid, you face a penalty period. During that penalty period, Medicaid will not pay even if you otherwise qualify. See, the penalty is calculated by dividing the transferred amount by the average monthly cost of nursing home care in your state. A $100,000 transfer to a child 3 years before the application could result in 10 or more months of no Medicaid coverage starting from the date of nursing home admission. So that's not technicality. That's a gap between a family that planned and a family that did not. The spend down strategy only works if you start before the 5-year clock becomes a problem, which means the time to start is not when a crisis is happening, it's now. If you want to prevent the situation, here are the first steps. The ACL.gov, LTC, which is long-term care, that's the Administration for Community Living Long-Term Care Planning portal. It's free, it's federal, and covers costs, care options, and planning tools across every care setting. Also, the Elder Care Locator, I think it's 1-800-677-1116, but check online to make sure. It connects families to local community-based services by zip code. Run by the U.S. Administration on Aging. There's live operators and it's free. Step 1. Call your parent's primary care physician and ask for a realistic assessment of their long-term care needs over the next 3 to 5 years. That conversation sets a timeline for everything else. Step 2. Pull a complete list of your parents' assets, savings, retirement accounts, property, vehicles, and jointly held accounts. You need this list before you can plan around it. Step 3. Go to Medicaid.gov and look up your state's income and asset limits for nursing home Medicaid. Every state is different. Know your state's numbers before any conversation happens. Step 4. If your parents' assets exceed the Medicaid limit, contact an elder law attorney now. Not when a crisis happens. A 5-year look-back period means the clock on legal spend-down planning starts today. Step 5. If your parent is already in a nursing home and no attorney has been involved, make that call this week. The options exist even after admission. Well, they are fewer and more expensive the longer you wait. The families in the strongest position are not the ones with the most money. They're the ones who learned the rules before the bill arrived. So before you close this video, here's the one move that costs nothing to take under 10 minutes. Go to Medicaid.gov. Look up your state's income and asset limits for nursing home Medicaid. Write that number down. That's a number that determines whether your family needs an elder law attorney now or later. That's a complete picture. Everything else is planning around it. The question I want you to sit with, how directly does this affect your financial situation right now? And have you actually run the numbers for your specific state? Well, the next video is the IRMAA breakdown. It's the income-related monthly adjustment. If you want that video and the SSA walkthrough the moment they drop, subscribe now. That's in the next one. I'm Han Brown, and this is The Han Brown Show. See you in the next one.